Here.
Commissioner Gallagher.
Here.
Commissioner Buckley.
Here.
Quorum's present.
As you wish, please stand for the pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear Lord, thank you, and be with us as we go throughout the day today, and we try to do what's best for the county, make the best decisions we can. Dear Lord, be with those and family who travel in this week, and just continue to guide us and lead us. Dear Lord, thank you. Keep all healthy and take care of those that aren't. I ask this in your Son, Jesus Christ's name. Amen.
Amen. The consent agenda is on the board, has been published. All in favor, motion please.
I'll make a motion that we approve the consent agenda.
Second?
I'll second.
I think I'm in a hurry.
You're fine.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Thank you. I think those desks are from the Weber Road facility, the old, where the JDC was. They're pretty bad shape. Okay, approval of monitoring of the landfill wells cost, and I did total those up, and they did total the right amount. Okay, good. And this is, as it says, we have to drill test wells around this and monitor the groundwater around the old landfill. And what we're testing for, who knows what was put in the barrel out there 40 years ago and finally starting to leak. And we've got to make sure that that's contained in the membranes around the landfill. So that's what the testing is for. Motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve the monitoring landfill wells costs at the landfill for $61,036.17.
Second?
I'll second that.
But, Rich,
Where is this old landfill?
that's now the transfer station. It's between the city of Deloge and 8 Highway, alongside Peon.
Now, is there a transfer station on that site?
There is, the landfill is adjacent to it, the old
Okay.
landfill.
Have we ever had these wells there before?
We had some, but they've increased it, and this is for additional drilling and for setting up a network system to test those wells.
Thank you.
That's been, yeah, it's been an overall plan for several years. This is not something that's come up new, this is what they were told by the department that had to be done over systematic time.
When that monitors, Rich, there's a river down there too, and they monitor where,
Got to, yeah.
if it goes towards the river.
As well as the air.
Yeah.
They planned a great landfill right next to the
Yeah,
river.
right next to it, yeah.
Thank you.
When they started.
How many years ago was that? A lot of time.
Yeah, so it's quite a bit.
Okay.
Bob, can you tell us when they, no. Sorry about those.
Bob, he owes you an apology. Okay, any other questions? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, now, the next 2 or 3 items are gonna be about grants, and the first couple are about sidewalks and trails. You wanna talk about this one?
Well, I can talk the first one, which would be the TAP grant for sidewalks and trails. Actually, this grant, Bridget, if you correct me, we can use it in 2 different ways, but we're planning on using this TAP grant for Owl Creek.
We're gonna try.
That's our process. The trails and bikes are, we're having a meeting, informational meeting to the public today, and we're actually getting Park Hill, Glade, and Farmington together, which will be future, but it will probably involve TAP grants. But this grant today we're approving would be for Owl Creek. And it is a 80-20 match up to 500,000. So if we would get the match, we would have to pay 20%, which would add trails or bathrooms, restrooms to the park, or what we want. There's a list of things that we can add to the park with this grant. So we actually have an engineering company that's actually building this park in phases. So we would actually get with them to see what's best to use the money for. Because we already, as of this year in November, will be actually bidding that job out, and that would be the trails that's already there's 4 miles of trails that we've cut, and that would be for asphalt sidewalks, bike trails, and it's it's compliant.
ADA compliant.
ADA
This is only
compliant.
for trails and stuff.
Yeah, and the ADA is for if something would happen to happen with this grant, you have to be ADA, that way the ambulance can fit on the trail, or ADA to get to the people, so.
That's why the trail's 10 feet wide.
Yeah, the trail is 10 feet wide, and it's really gonna be nice. Yeah, I mean, automatically right now, we have 4 miles of trails cut. And in stages of that park, we can automatically get to another 4 miles as we build and go, so we can develop it as we go. And we need, you know, restrooms, playground equipment, parking. There'll be a gazebo by a pond, like bird watchers. There's a bunch of stuff over there that they can, it'll be something for everybody in the county.
I know we talk a lot about Owl Creek, and you say, well, there's no place I can go look at it. Trails are cut, trails are being developed, and it's coming up beautiful. But we're just not ready to open it up yet.
Can I address what, because we'll get calls. People will say, why don't we pave more roads on this money? These grants are for a specific purpose. The federal government passes most of them through the state. They call them intermodal transportation, other than roads, so you can't use it for roads. It's to develop other things in the state, like trails, like green trails, and like sidewalks. So you can't just say, well, we'd rather take the 500,000 and put it on roads. You can't do that. You have to show what you're doing, and it has to be approved through the federal pass-through through the state for intermodal transportation.
Well, and in the future.
And it's a good thing for the people, but a lot of people say, why don't we use it for road? Well, yeah, that's not the grant you're applying for.
We would like to.
Yeah.
Of course.
Enough said from you.
Well, and I mean the future, if you really look at the future, we're blessed with parks. We've got St. Francis, Owl Creek will sit right on the edge of Deloche, and then you've got St. Joe. If you can get to St. Joe, you automatically have trails in Farmington. Really the future plan in the meeting today is we're trying to connect everything together where you can actually get on a bike and you can literally ride from St. Francis Park to St. Joe Drive if you want, St. Joe Park, and you can come to Farmington. But the future is really to try to connect everything together. That will bring more people in parks. If you're retiring later on and you have this kind of trail system, it'll be great for the county.
Right. Quality of life issues are the #1 things on surveys, what people are looking for when they retire, or if they're considering moving here to take a job, or
Right.
they don't go back home to Indiana looking at the place and saying, boy, you can flush your toilet there, just, oh, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
We need to move there, huh?
Yeah.
Ben?
What, just curiosity, what is the total project cost gonna be for all these parks, or the trail, do you have it included yet?
Well, all these parks only includes Owl Creek, right?
Yeah, right now Owl Creek's already,
Yeah,
and
total-
actually,
Total for the thing, I'm getting to a point.
oh, you mean for the total for,
Yeah,
well, Ben, you're looking at trying to connect. Right now, Owl Creek is the main purpose, and we're
Grants.
building it with grants.
my
Not our money.
reason is currently the state's sitting on $100 billion that
We can build it for that.
Yeah, I'm well aware. I know. We were one of the few counties that didn't ask for a penny out of the federal money.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, why don't we ask for it this year? Because they're gonna be giving it away again this year.
Well, if we've got a plan in place, we can go to the state next year.
Yeah. And we're developing a plan in stages,
Ours in phases, yeah, so it's like, we'd like to say
A
we
little
do
bit
the whole
on
thing.
for road
We do
and
the whole
bridge.
thing.
The state really wants to do something for 67. I heard that out of leadership's mouth this week. So you wanna ask for that money because that is on their priority along with 44.
Yeah, oh, that's something, we're.
You know what they really have, since you're so good at internet stuff, I know like Springfield, Jeff City, Columbia, they've all put their future plans, so when they develop these phase plans, maybe you could work with them so that people could look and see how this is gonna be phased in and how eventually those parks will connect. Maybe you could help that.
It'd be great to do what Columbia did in Boone County and stretch a green trail all the way across, all on federal money.
Yeah, that's exactly, that's what the overall plan is, but not only are they doing it and planning it, they put it on a website to kind of show, this is our plan, and this is the phases we're going to, show where you've got a purpose to this.
Well, we've done enough at Owl Creek, we're actually on a
So it'd be
Missouri
nice to be able to
register now.
develop a-
We had to get it
no
done
cost.
now, so we are registered at Owl Creek on Missouri, we just gotta complete what we're gonna do.
Okay. Have we got a motion on this yet?
No.
Okay.
But, okay, I'll make a motion, give permission to apply for the MoDOT TAP grant.
I'll second.
And questions anymore?
Once again, this is just the application, so that if for some reason, we decide 6 months from now if whether to take it or not, but we'll just apply for it.
Okay.
Well, one thing about it, we have Bridget, where she is really great at these grants, so there's a timeline involved when you apply for one. And you have to, it's on a point system, and she's really great at this, helping us out with this, so.
Well, you've been helping a lot too, so.
We,
You've been-
He's the reason the trails
Yeah.
are cut.
we need to have this passed where she can get on it, because sometimes when you're applying for these grants, you can use the same paperwork, but like, she might have a month to apply for this, and she gets down and works on it, and she does a great job at it. That's what's securing these grants. That's how we can do this.
This man spent a lot of afternoons with his equipment and his time cutting trails out there. But,
Well, they've been trying to build it since 2009, it's time to build it.
Yeah.
Karen
Okay.
doesn't like sitting around.
No.
Okay, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Another grant, here you go on that, Land Transportation Partnership Grant. And this is for Owl Creek alone, there's no limit, 50% match. And what would you do with this one?
Well, Bridget, you wanna?
Well, this is the
We've got
one-
options, we have options with this grant. We can, really, restrooms, playgrounds, boat docks, we can adapt and move across if we want to build extended trails. But right now, we wanna develop the park itself. Once we get it developed, where people are out walking on it, and I think they'll appreciate it once they do, that as these grants come up, and yearly, they will come up, and it's government money, we can adapt and start building this park in phases. And, we have almost, Bob, 900 acres out there that we can develop. There's 17 miles of floating, it's amazing what's out there. You'd have to go out and see it to realize what it is, and I'm taking your man Thursday out. Taking the journal out there Thursday, and actually, you don't realize what we have there until you go out and see it.
This man's selling something, but he can't show you the product yet.
Hey, you're doing a great job though.
Okay.
You want that? Get a message like that?
Motion?
Oh, no, go ahead.
Oh, I make a motion, we, permission to apply for the Land Transportation Partnership Grant.
I'll second that.
Questions?
Now, I will explain on this grant, this is up to, it's a no match grant. I mean, if we could get
Whoa,
them in.
whoa, whoa, not no match.
I mean,
No limit.
no limit grant, and we'd have to match up 50% of it, whatever we
So
get.
you're doubling your money.
Yeah, you're actually, whatever you do, that you're gonna double what you get in your money, as he says. And we'll go after
Can
all
any of
these.
this
we
money
can
be
get.
used for security?
No.
I mean, 'cause-
No.
This stuff, no.
So that's just one thing that I hear from the people, the sheriff, we're gonna have some type of permanent monitoring, some type of gating that would open and close, because you're not gonna get people to use that park until they perceive that it's safe.
Then you're also gonna have the maintenance.
Yeah, and I think, we're looking at that now, John's been looking at that as far as maintenance, we're eventually gonna have to hire, once the trails are in, to keep them up, to cut the trails. The other part of the park, the bush hog, the tree, there's a lot of, invasive, trees out there that's taken over, but the state will come in once we get it, we get started, and they're gonna take out a lot of the cedars and invasive trees. The state will do that on their own. There's also a glade out there that, I think there's only one or two in Missouri of a natural glade that still exists in Missouri, and we had one.
Yeah, and Fish and Wildlife and Conservation really don't want us bothering that glade. They treasure that glade.
We can't even put a path on it, but if you watch the girls that come down out of state, I mean, it's like me going to the Super Bowl. I mean, they look at that glade, I'm seeing just, you know, plants and stuff, and they're really into that. They know what they're doing.
Okay, I have a motion, a second. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, and it's tempting to say that IT wants to get high, but I won't say that. Nick? Notice that's a camera mounted on a drone.
Nick Jones, Emergency Management Director. We're just asking for permission to apply for the protection of soft targets and crowded places grants through Homeland Security.
What is this soft target?
A soft target could be, the biggest reason we're going for this isn't so much the soft target, it's gonna be for the crowded places such as like the fairgrounds, when we have our fair. Deloge has their Labor Day picnic, stuff like that. We have large groups of people show up. We can put obviously an eye in the sky, and if we're looking for something or if we see something, we can report it that way.
There's so many uses for it. I just
Oh,
wanted to know what a
absolutely.
soft target was. That's all I didn't know what that meant. So it's like,
Easy target
there-
might be a better way.
is there a hard target?
Yeah, there is.
Yeah.
I don't know, so that's why I'm asking.
Soft target, I would call it easy target.
Okay.
Shoot into a
Alright.
crowd, that kind of thing.
Shoot. Okay.
But it's
No
a
ammo on board.
15,000 no match required.
This have infrared on there?
Yeah, the one we're looking at possibly getting two, just depends on how the funds come out, but it'll have thermal and everything. It'll assist with searches and all that.
People don't know how important that is. I mean, it is in this day and age very important. Searches out, no crowd. It's just
Oh, yeah, just looking for one
the
person.
park, the state park, or anywhere.
As of right now, we don't have any kind of drones. Does anybody in the county police department have a drone?
The only ones that I know of is Farmington Fire Department has a drone. But from the way I understand it, the hardest thing they have is people flying it. You gotta have a pilot license to fly it, a special drone license, which myself and Chuck will go get. And then there's a few at the Sheriff's Department that are interested in getting it as well. So we shouldn't have a problem
I
trying to
think
find.
we should
somebody to
limit
fly it.
the number of people having access.
Absolutely.
Dan, would you see it? This would be a plus for you too.
Well, sure, and we looked at this before. The grants are not out there for law enforcement, but they are for emergency management.
Yeah.
It's one reason Nick's going after this.
Cause this could really come in handy.
Oh,
Like,
yes.
Jeff, you guys, Farmington, they used it.
Yes,
You take advantage of having it then.
yes.
So Nick, I would like you, if Sheriff does ask for a camera for search, he's not searching gear, you're with it.
Okay, motion?
I'll make a motion that we, give permission to, IT to apply for the, soft target crowd plate drone in emergency management.
Emergency management's point on IT.
Yeah, emergency management, okay, not IT.
Okay, so this is not IT, it's
Correct.
okay.
Emergency management.
Okay, second?
I'll second that.
Yeah, Rich,
Who will be licensed to use the drone?
Nick and Chuck.
Yeah.
And Chuck is,
Yeah, my assistant.
high in the 911 program.
So will they be getting that license, or are they already licensed?
We are not licensed yet, but we will get, once the grant goes through, we will push through. We don't wanna get the license if we don't have the drone,
Sure.
so. But yeah, once we get approval of the grant and everything, then we'll go
And
get
as
it.
a side comment, I'm sure glad they didn't have those when I was at Woodstock.
Bob?
That was my question too, is that
About Woodstock?
training, not about Wichita, but the training necessary to operate the zone.
I know a lot of it is online, but you can go take your test up in St. Louis,
Okay.
to actually get your license, and that's what we're looking at doing.
Drone technology is amazing. My neighbors are large-scale farmers. The other day, they were flying drones doing spraying of the crops. And the spraying is done by GPS. The field is outlined and it goes perfect pattern. And remember that in wind, the drone has to counteract the wind to stay in position. And it also has to calculate where the spray is gonna go with the drone. So it has to correct all that factor. The other day I was following one of them down the road, he turned into my neighbor's place. The drone was the size and width of the utility trailer he was pulling. And it landed obviously on top of the trailer, the frame. The trailer had a large tank of liquid on it, probably some spray mix. And then the drone carried a smaller tank. And so he landed on the trailer, sucked up material to fill the tank, and took off. And I've heard that the drone that size would fly with like 300 pounds of payload. And then goes out and sprays and comes back and does it. All pretty much automatic. So it's amazing the technology of these things. Any other comments?
They become very, very sophisticated.
Yes, yes. It's not, you know, and he was talking about a lot of people wanting to fly this thing. I think we need to limit that. So, yeah. Okay, any other questions?
I just recommend put some liability on this. I know of a case where it was flying a drone, inspecting a property, and it just shut off out of nowhere. Actually went through a metal roof, put a hole in the metal roof about that big. So just as a heads up, I mean, I think we need to protect ourselves if something goes wrong, and I mean, it's technology, we lose power.
Flying over a crowd.
Can't take a chance of falling on a car, falling on a person, or anything else. So. And I saw, this wasn't a story I heard, I actually saw this firsthand. So.
Good point, that's a good point. And like I say, if you're flying over a crowd, that's that much more liability, absolutely, possibilities. Okay, any other questions or comments? Okay, all in favor of going for this grant, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nick. Once again, we are aware of Senate Bill 190, and Angie's not here today because they're having a seminar with Missouri Association of Counties about Senate Bill 190. So, and I guess it's concentrated toward collectors, I'm not sure about that. But things are being done to study this and see how we can work with it. So, anyway.
That seminar, that Zoom meeting begins at 11 o'clock this morning.
Okay, next meeting right here next week. Other bit of correspondence. Okay, public comments. Departmental reports. You guys are tired of meeting, I think.
I'll make a motion, we adjourn. Second.
All in favor, aye.
Aye.